on days like this, but what I really like to do is I like to fish. I catch and release. I don't like to eat fish, but catch and release. And I'm a bass fisherman. I'm sorry about there, fly fishermen. I know you call us bass fishermen trash fish. That's okay. During the months of May, we come up in May and go back. We came up in May and go back probably the middle of October. My wife wanted to because it was Halloween time. And my wife celebrated every known U.S. holiday known to everybody, to include Groundhog Day. And we go back. Now I go back probably in November or some like last year in December. What I do from Maine until school ends, I go to schools, and this is what I do. I get invited to a number or to public libraries. During the summer, it's a lot of camps, public libraries, assisted living, snowmobile clubs, whatever. And then school starts again, and this is what I do. Again, is what I do at the time to go home. And I like it because I meet great young people. I meet great teachers, and I go to great schools, and I see an awful lot of Maine. And so, okay, that's enough about me. Yeah. I'm going to take you back to July of 1939 at Lake Sebastopol in Newport, Maine, and I'm on a dock with my twin brother Ryan, who lives in Canada, as I said, my younger brother Tom, who lives in Rye, New York, and two friends, Henry Condon from Newport and Freddie Eaton from Millinocket. I think he was in Augusta at that time, but he's really a Millinocket. I think he worked for Great Northern until he retired. When my mother hollered down and said, "Your dad wants you on the telephone." Boy, I said, what did I do now? I kind of got in problems every now and then. Anyway, I said okay, and I got up there on the telephone. Well, my dad had a business in New York, and in the summer he'd rent our home in Rye, and then he would move us to Maine for the whole summer, which was great. And he would then close the business down in July for 2 weeks, and he would come up to Maine, which we looked forward to because he was such a great guy to be with. So I got on the phone, I said, "Yeah, Dad, what can I do?" He said, "How would you guys like to go on a fishing trip?" And I said, "I like fishing, son." And I said, "Gee, that's neat, Dad, okay." He said, "Well, we'll go a week, get Henry and Freddie," he knew about our friends, "and they can come along, pick a route out, and we'll do it. And maybe Henry knows some good fishing spots." So I got down, I got the map out, went down there, and we picked a route out between Newport and a town called Caribou, which is a neat name, and haven't been there. It was a good turnaround point. So my dad came, we got in the old station wagon, and off we took. And we got to the town of Milo because we had got a late start, and Milo's not very far. And we camped there, and Milo has like 3 little rivers, I believe, there. But we fished one of them, and we got enough trout that night, that day, to have a great meal that night, and of course the next morning. Unfortunately, that night, Henry made a suggestion at the campfire, which to this day I could kill him. And he suggested we climb Mount Katahdin. And my dad thought that was a pretty good idea. You know, it's something different. None of us had climbed except Henry, and I'm not so sure about Freddie, he probably did. And okay, next morning, off we went, and we got to Baxter State Park. Now, I know many of you have been here, and today, when you go in the park, the roads are not bad at all. They're maintained in pretty good fashion. You've got some great camping areas. 2 or 3 of them are really good. You've got lean-tos that are in great shape. You've got cabins, if you can get them, at Dacey and Kidney Ponds. And you've got great volunteers that come there and help maintain the trails and do all kinds of things. And you've got great park rangers who try to make your stay there as comfortable as possible, and you know, and make it really nice for you. However, when we went, the roads were wicked bad. I mean, really wicked. Now, I like that word wicked. I'd never heard that before. And my grandchildren, 4 of them are from Kentucky. And if anybody's been in Kentucky, those people really have a weird way of talking. But anyway, they came up, and when they went back to Guthrie, Kentucky, I think everybody in that town learned to say wicked good and wicked bad. It was good. But the roads were pretty bad because mainly, thank you, dear, mainly because there was very few, if any maintenance, and there were very few people climbing the mountain in those days. The lean-tos weren't in very good shape. I think they only had one campground. There were very few trails. Of course, no volunteers, you know, and that type of thing. Anyway, we got into Katahdin Stream because we were going to climb Hunt Trail, and there was nobody there, just us. And we pitched camp. And that night, the park ranger came down and got by the campfire and gave us a very good safety lesson. He telling us, first of all, about the trail, what to watch out for, where the water was. And then he got into a few things like what to do in case somebody got injured, somebody got separated, what to do. Just conversation. And this was good news. This was all new to us. And so it was fine. And he talked about Pomola, the Indian chief that's in the book, which is a fable. I guess he was trying to scare us a little bit. But anyway, it was good conversation. And it did help us a lot. So the next morning we got up and we packed up and we're getting ready to go. Now, I kind of stop here. First of all, we were not prepared to climb that mountain. When I say not prepared, we had the wrong foot gear because our sneakers in those days were pretty bad. And even though they're okay, I was up there one day and I dropped off a son-in-law and two of my grandchildren. They were going to go up, climb Saddle. And I'm looking out there and here comes this young lady in flip-flops heading for the mountain. I don't know how they do that. And one bottle of water swinging. But anyway, we were not prepared. We didn't have really anything. The clothing wasn't bad. But we had no survival items of any kind. I'm talking about water, some rations, things like that, or anything that could help us in case something went wrong. And then during the school year, I talked to the young people a little bit about survival. I don't talk about building how to build fires, how to build lean-tos and trap and all that. I talk about some items that they really should think about taking. And I tell them, get with your group, discuss all different kinds of things like safety, like the park ranger was telling us. You set up a buddy system. Everybody gets a buddy. They don't go off by themselves. There's always somebody with you. And by the way, if you pick a buddy, pick one you like. And then I just mention a few items. I say, now these items are not, you don't have to take if you want, but I think you should. But there may be others, but don't make the pack so heavy you can't carry it. And so I mentioned a few things like, anybody ever start a stick fire? Oh yeah, how'd it work? Not so good. A few things, and then I say, I found something that works every single time, it never fails, and it's called a match. And things like that, waterproof. And I discussed things like that. And we have a little discussion. Some kids want to make a flare gun. Well, we don't use a flare gun. Why? Forest fire.